So Caitlin Clark finally gets the award for Player of the Week, and it's well deserved. As you can see, 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists. And she continues to get better. The stats are from the games against the Mercury, the Storm, and the Minnesota Lynx. And tonight, the Fever got a huge W against the Connecticut Sun. They were in a really tough defensive game. The score was 84-80, and it was ugly in the fourth quarter. I think that both teams scored a total of 29 points. It was just disgusting. Caitlin did have her turnovers, but the Fever found another win. They're 14-8 since starting 1-8, so they're building momentum. Lexi Hall is hitting her three-point shots. As long as Kelsey Mitchell is not playing this game of dribble, 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 where she's taking these random step back shots and they're not moving the ball, and she's out here playing hero ball, the Fever will be fine. When she gets into that mode, that's when teams catch them, and that's when the Fever end up losing. But outside of that, Kelsey Mitchell has been solid after the All-Star break. When she's playing within the system and allowing the ball to move around, she's getting her shots, she's executing, and shooting well. And of course, we got to shout out P. Collier. She's been fantastic. She's making a strong push for MVP. The Aces lost last night to the Wings, and I know Asia Wilson had 42 points, I believe, in that game. Again, another loss for the Aces. They're not playing good basketball. The Lynx are on fire. Collier is leading the charge at almost 26 points tonight, 9.2 rebounds, and on 3 assists. And she outplayed Wilson in both those games. So she's making her push. We'll see if that continues. I know the Aces are struggling right now, but again, you get a little bit of a win streak going and you start piling up those W's again, the narrative is going to shift very quickly back to Asia Wilson if she can get her team back on track. However, Collier is making a strong push to snatch the MVP from Asia Wilson. I was looking up the Fever's previous regular season records, and they haven't won 15 games since 2016. They've been that bad for a long time. And let's give some credit to the GM. They picked up Aaliyah Boston last year in the draft, and they also drafted Caitlin Clark, and now they have a dynamic duo. And it seems like Kelsey Mitchell, when she decides to allow the offense to flow and not play isolation basketball and chuck up a bunch of threes and plays in rhythm, the Fever are hard to beat. Now, I still think they need some more wings to handle the ball pressure from a team like the Connecticut Sun, because you saw tonight they made Caitlin Clark work, and it wasn't easy to score, especially in that fourth quarter. So I think it would help the Fever if they can get a player like Satu. That should be one of their free agent targets in the offseason, because if you add her to this team, you add more athleticism and another scoring threat out there. The Fever also need to re-sign Kelsey Mitchell because she's one of their best scorers. She has shown ever since the break that she can hit the three, she can play with a team, and when she's cutting, when she's fighting over screens and getting those three-point shots with an assist from Caitlin Clark, she's fantastic. And let's look at the games since coming back to the All-Star game for Kelsey Mitchell, because she's been a key part to this run for the Fever. 28 points on 46% shooting from three. That's impressive. Made 6 of them. 27 points on 62% from three, and 20% and 30% in the next 2 games. And then tonight against the Sun, where you needed buckets, she shot 57% and 4-7 from three. The only time Kelsey Mitchell causes problems is when she plays hero ball, when she decides to chuck threes, not allow Caitlin Clark to run that offense. And I think some of this is on Chrissy's sides, because she tends to slow the game down when the Fever have a lead and allows the opponent to get back in the game. When they're playing with pace and allowing Caitlin Clark to run the offense and initiate things, that's when the Fever are at their best. And just seeing these shooting splits from Kelsey Mitchell, she deserves a lot of credit. I think she's got a good chance to win Player of the Week for next week, especially if they continue to build this momentum. They got the Dallas Wings next. I don't think that's going to be an easy game for them, because Satu and Enrique are going to be playing up for that game and looking to knock off the Fever. They also beat them last time, so I'm not going to dismiss the Wings. They're going to be a tough opponent for the Fever, especially when you have that type of ability from Enrique. She can just go off at any moment and just drop 20 on your head, and you have no chance. And of course, Satu is another dynamic scorer. And then the Fever come home to play against the Minnesota Lynx. That will not be an easy game. They could look at it as a revenge game after the Lynx beat them in their stadium, but that is not going to be an easy task, because Collier is balling. She's playing at an MVP level. The Lynx are on fire since coming back from the All-Star break. And Collier is going to look to make a statement because that stadium is going to be jam-packed. So if Collier comes out and balls out, outplays Caitlin Clark, and gets the Lynx a W, you can add that to her MVP case. And just looking at the rest of the schedule, I forgot to mention they're going to Chicago on Friday. And playing Angel Reese, I don't think that's going to be easy because Angel Reese is going to get up for that game. And Kennedy Carter is going to be ready as well. And the Chicago Sky might look to still get back in the playoff hunt. So that'll be interesting to watch. Then they got to go to Dallas. We already talked about Enrique and Satu. Then they got Los Angeles at home. And then they have Minnesota. So they actually have Los Angeles, then the Lynx. So if I'm the Fever, take advantage of these next 3 games because you can get to 18 and 16. If they beat Minnesota next week, that would be huge. Atlanta, and then you got the Aces twice. That won't be an easy stretch, but if the Aces are playing bad basketball, you got to take advantage of that. But I expect the Aces to be ready for those games, especially if Collier is gaining ground on Wilson for MVP. She's going to want to look to make a statement in those games, especially if it's on the road in Indiana. Those are going to be some fun games to watch, though. Then you got Dallas again. Then you go on the road to Mystics to close out the season. I think the goal for the Fever should be 7-2. That should be the goal at this point. They're playing good basketball. They've been great since coming back from the All-Star break. As you can see, they're 4-1. But you got to stay focused. You got to continue to push and make sure that Caitlin Clark is running your offense. So when you have big leads, Christy Sides has got to figure out if a team decides to go zone on them, they got to generate some offense because they look lost when teams run zone and when they slow down the game. You got to play with more pace and make sure that Caitlin Clark is initiating this offense because every time they take the ball away from Caitlin Clark, they don't do anything. They look stagnant. If you're looking at the overall season for the Fever, it's a huge success because they've exceeded the win total from last year. Caitlin Clark is the clear Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about it. She's going to win the award. You look at Aaliyah Boston. She's been the perfect complement piece next to Clark, not just on the basketball court, but off the court as well with how she handles the media and not criticizing Caitlin Clark and creating division in the locker room. Then you look at Kelsey Mitchell. Ever since the All-Star break, she's been balling out. So the Fever are building their core pieces. They just got to figure out how to improve their bench and upgrade their wing positions because I think those are their 2 biggest weaknesses right now. Lexi Hall has been fantastic since the All-Star break. So, yeah, it's cool to watch with the Fever. We'll see if they keep this up. Obviously, they got some winnable games, but you still got to get it done and execute. So we'll see what happens from here on out. I love what they're doing. And, again, Caitlin Clark winning Play of the Week is just another thing on her resume. She continues to impress and continues to draw fans, and people are going to keep watching the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark and her impact in the media and with her marketing. And it's only going to make the WNBA better. I want this league to succeed. Don't get me wrong. I want them to do better. So I'm rooting for that to happen. As long as they continue to market their players like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the league will be in good hands. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Caitlin Clark winning Player of the Week. Also, where do you think the Fever are going to end up at the end of the season? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.